I am on the Don't Unfriend Me show, otherwise known as The Dumb Show, with host Matt Spear. You guys can find the show at The Dumb Show on social media or thedumbshow.com.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree, just don't unfriend me.
We understand that the people on Instagram are not going to be able to see us. We apologize. We also apologize for the little red glitchy stuff that's been happening on the video transfer new update on Ecamm. And it's better. It's just, unfortunately, it does some glitchy stuff. So occasionally you're going to see that. We're not going to, throw multiple screens up tonight anyway. So Instagram people, if you want to see Olivia and I, which I guess the whole point of listening, you can go over to Facebook. You can come see us over pretty much wherever you want at The Dumb Show. You can do Facebook, you can do Rumble, you can do Spreely.tv. But this is, for some reason, we're supposed to be able to broadcast in 16:9, but they only allow us to do Reels.
Which is weird.
So I think they're fixing it. It's Instagram's fault. It's certainly not this software. I'm supposed to be able to pick which one I can do, but alas, here we are. So if you can't, I guess we could kind of do this while we're not on a little bit closer together like that. And let's see if that helps. At least they're gonna be able to see your boobs. Because really that's what people want. Let's see, we're closer. You can see half of Olivia's head. That kind of works. Whatever. If you don't like it, the best thing to do is come and watch us somewhere else. I have something to play. Of course, I didn't screen this, so I just downloaded it. Olivia, and I don't even know if this is good or not. So, God, I'm sorry. With Envato, you kind of are at the mercy of Envato. So let's see how this works. Here it is, folks. Sing along.
There was a second verse.
Did you want to interrupt, or did you just want me to start over?
No, you can continue.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Just because I'm not going to start over that whole damn thing. Let's find one. We need to find one that's better than that. Because that's
sounds like I'm back in elementary school.
Well, that's where we met. So Why not go ahead and?
How old do people think I am now?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. But there's got to be here. Let's see. Let's just do this. I've got a full license for Envato, so I can play everything. And we're going to find a happy birthday song for the show, and we're going to do it together before we play this because we need a little bit of leeway, right, for commercials and stuff.
Yes,
so
we do.
Let's go ahead and do that. So I need a haircut. I am looking like a hippie. Happy birthday song. All right, let's see. And you tell me which one you like.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here's the first one.
They say it's your birthday.
Audio Jungle.
Yeah. No. We're going to do one with vocals. And we can't play it a long time because these are, yeah. So vocals. Female vocals or male vocals? Let's just do lead vocals.
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
Happy birthday.
No, that's stupid.
I heard today was your birthday.
That's not bad. Here we go.
Audio Jungle.
No.
Reminds me of 51st Dates.
I was going to say the same thing.
We share the same brain.
Yeah, totally. I was going to say that is ridiculous. Let's take it down to let's just say 40 seconds. Let's see. Okay, here we go.
Audio
Happy, 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 happy.
No.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
Okay, maybe we need to make it a little longer. Jeez, you know how many royalty violations I'm going to get on this? This is just for you. Here we go.
Audio Jungle.
Happy.
No, that's not good. Here we go.
Audio Jungle.
If you're doing meth. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. It's like hooked on classics. Here.
Happy birthday, woo-hoo. Happy birthday, woo-hoo.
Audio
Happy
Jungle.
birthday to you.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, that's great. That's the song. Oh yeah,
Birthday.
yeah.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday to you.
Jason Derulo. That's so great. All right, here we go. Here's the official happy birthday song. Now we get it. I saw. Okay, here it is. Ready? Here it is. Merry Christmas. All right, here we go.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
The lighting effects, there it is. I'm special. Thank you.
That's the shit that I bring to the show.
Yes.
Listen, we spare no expense here in the Don't Unfriend Me show. Live.
Apparently.
Matt Howens is like, this song is hitting hard in my truck. I like that song. We're gonna play that from now on. Happy birthday, Livy. But
Thank you, dear.
All right, so we got to bring
Dinner
it.
and the cake was delicious. I appreciate it.
Yeah, was that code?
No, dinner. You made me homemade Olive Garden. Holy cow. It was
Dude,
delicious.
it
And
was-
the cake was amazing. Appreciate
But
it.
our dinner was interrupted by a knock at the door. I wasn't gonna go ahead and play this video, but I'm gonna do it now because people have been following this fairly closely about supposedly this lawsuit that's looming against me because I said mean things to somebody who called me a Nazi, Ku Klux Klan, rapist. What else? She made fun of my hairline, said I had a lisp.
She said some things about me, but you still won't tell me what she said.
Yeah, well, it's not important. Well done on the shake, honey.
Thank you.
I know it's not that hard,
What I bring to the table.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to play the video. I don't have a choice. And I'm going to do something I said I would never do. Here it is. I'm sorry. I don't have a choice.
Wrong video.
No, it's not. Don't Don't. Here it is, folks. A formal apology I thought I would never have to make. Well, I didn't think I was going to have to do this because, you know, you just create a show because, you know, you think you want to share your opinions or something. You know, you want to make a difference. You don't expect people to take things so seriously that they would consider suing you over words. I don't know. I don't understand what's wrong with this world. You know, I never thought I would apologize to somebody because of something that I said. When I first started this, I said, there's no way. I was never going to do that. And I'm not going to fucking do it now because this is actually a bill. So I waited all day. I didn't get served. God, fucking trolls. It's almost like I was worried. It's been a couple hours and I'm missing her, Liv.
Oh, you having separation anxiety?
I think so. She hasn't come by in such a long time. I have that not so fresh feeling. I was thinking OB might be a choice for me, but I don't know. I mean, if Massengale douche can't figure and fix this, what could? I think I need her back. I think I need to unmute her and let her wash over me like the waters of Lake Minnetonka. So empty inside. However, luckily I'm too shallow and callow to care. But I do have a video that she sent me, and I figured you guys should watch this. Ooh. Here it is. Yeah, it's just a little response video. It's just a little one, and you know, it filled me up a little more before we get to the Super Tuesday. Here it is. Enjoy.
Is this a serious question? You're asking me if I truly think that the country is in a better place now than it was when Trump was president. Yes, I do. Of course I do. And of course, Biden has spent much of his time cleaning up the that your fat president, Nimrod, stupid criminal, did to damage this country for so many years. And we're still cleaning up. Not only are we cleaning up governmentally and policy-wise, but we're cleaning up the on the streets because you racist keep everything, shooting everybody, and basically being prejudiced against anybody who doesn't look like your white skin and blue eyes. So do I think this country is in a better place than it was when Trump was president? Yes, I do. You cannot change my mind. Don't even try, because the facts are there. Do some research. Factual research. Not opinion now. Facts.
Well, women should clean up. I feel better. I feel much better. I feel fulfilled. I feel, yeah. See, here's the thing. I don't have anything. I wish I did. It comes down to this, is that if you're going to go and swat a nest of hornets and you get stung, that's on you. And if you're going to apply everything that's said and think it's you, then guess what? It is. You can only be offended so much, but all you're doing is when you say that you're unable to handle what's been said. So what you're saying is that I'm in your head, that you have given up and surrendered power to me, and that I'm superior. So here's what I'll say is I'll apologize when you admit that, and then we'll call it good. I'll apologize. And in fact, I'll do it beforehand. Here it is. If I've said anything that's offended you to a point where you think about me longer than 3 seconds after you go to bed at night, and let's face it, I'm confident that you do, then I certainly am sorry, because I don't think about you when the show's off. I don't think about you when I'm with my family. I don't think about you when I'm making love. Well, that's not true. I do think about you a little bit because I miss you a little bit. But if you're thinking about me, there's something wrong. and you need to pop smoke. You need to go touch some grass. You need to get outside, go see the birds, come over to my house and supposedly deliver me the letter. But either way, I think this love affair is done because I haven't seen you all day, and I'm a little hurt. So please, it's Super Tuesday, and it's just not so super without you. So I'd appreciate if you'd come back. I know Kevin and Lee and all my other alt accounts, which are real people, miss you too. And guys, let's let her know. As I am, Olivia, put your hands up. Hands up.
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands. Watch us type. Watch. Lee, Kevin, Amy, Glenn, whoever else was there. Salty, everybody. Watch, my hands are up. Watch, type. You better frickin' type, I swear to God, because it's like, see, they're fake. Come on.
Come on, people.
Come on, people.
Come on.
Come on, people. My hands are up. I hired you people to go ahead and pretend you're real. Can you hurry up? They're all drinking, aren't they? All the mods are drinking.
Probably. They're having a drink for me in celebration.
You guys
of
are
my
all
birthday.
drunk. You guys are all drunk. I can't, but. I swear they're real.
I swear.
There's Lee. There he is. Oh, here we go. See? Rest of the hands. See, anybody who's been watching the show, you'll see them type all the time. It's ridiculous. Do you know how paranoid you are to think that I care so much about you that I'm going to create alt accounts in order to converse with myself? It's just stupid. Not everybody's you. Not everybody is this desperate. Yeah, Lee, it took you 20 minutes. What were you doing? Drinking?
They're celebrating my birthday.
There's Amy. I'm actually at my paying job. Well, it took you guys long enough. Sarah goes, I blocked that chick. Didn't want to stir the pot. Oh, Sarah, you should have stirred the pot. By the way, we're typing all of this right now. It's all us. But we do have a 20-second delay. But whatever. Folks, let's talk about Super Tuesday. It's so much more important than what's going on right now. We've got an amazing night coming for you. First of all, it's great to have so many people. We've got a crap ton of people on. We appreciate you taking your time. We just did a little intro to soften it up. Super Tuesday, polls just closed. We're going to see some numbers. I'm excited. Honestly, we shouldn't expect anything. I don't know if it's going to be a 15-15. It might be a 15-15 sweep. Donald Trump is in the driver's seat, most assuredly. Nikki Haley is sitting in for VP or a cabinet position at this point. We all understand that. But it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens in these fairly Republican states if people show up. Virginia is a possibility where she can pull some delegates. And there's quite a few states. We're going to walk through it together. Let's get to it. Let's stop worried about trolls because obviously that ship has sailed gently into that good night. Here it is. We're going to go right to Fox News. And sorry about the red flash, folks. It's the new update to the software. Bless you, honey.
I got a birthday cold. Is what
Yeah,
I got.
well,
and allergies.
I'll work it out.
How the candidates are doing. In the end, Rubio only won 2 counties, and then Nikki Haley won 3 this time. So she did a little better than we were back in 2016. Hence the reason why we look at places like Virginia tonight and also Vermont to see.
First of all, folks, we will make commentary because what we don't want to do is go ahead and have a problem with copyright infringement. First of all the people liking the stream, thank you so much for doing that. It helps our show. It helps us grow. We thank you very, very much. Quickly, I don't like to do a lot of advertisements. I don't beg for money from y'all. I don't want to do that, but I'm going to go ahead and beg some money from y'all. If you could... If you can do me a favor, we would appreciate it if you have the means, you like the show, you like what we talk about, you can donate to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Here's a link. I'm putting it in chat right now. Megan, I love you. You're the best. I want to see you. I want to talk to you. You need to come on the show. But
please do.
Link tap go / the dumb show. You can go and donate to the show if you want to by PayPal, whatever. We'll give you a little call out, et cetera, et cetera. Let's watch the show. Here we go.
Order right now.
Debbie, that's awesome. You got your books in your box today. I hope you enjoy them.
And the first polls of Super Tuesday are closed. Welcome to the biggest night in the primary campaign in the election season. unlike we have ever seen before. Good evening, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Brett Baer. It is Super Tuesday. The most states, the most delegates, the most votes on the line as both parties march towards a 2020 rematch, it looks like. At this hour, polls are closed in Virginia and Vermont. Vermont could be Nikki Haley's best chance to win a state tonight, thanks to moderate Northeast Republican voters.
I think Virginia is going to be a interesting. Hey, oh,
What?
oh, our stalkers on YouTube.
Oh, really? Really?
No,
Really?
I think it's somebody pretending to be her.
Where?
Yeah.
No,
It's Lee. What
the
a
Loco Yoko Ono Defenses
Fund. The Loco Yoko Ono Defenses Fund.
Defenses.
I love it. That is just the greatest. That is
Lee,
the
you're
greatest.
awesome.
Lee, you're the best. Here we go. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, folks. I think Virginia, of course, Vermont has some numbers to play. Don't get alarmed. Donald Trump's got this. We know he's got this. It's just going to be interesting to see is how many moderates, how many middle of the road, how many disenfranchised actually pick up on the ticket to Haley. And this is a big indicator, whether they're blue collar Democrats or whether they're middle of the road people who would never vote for Trump anyway. The question is, could they sway that 20 to 25% that she keeps getting to come to the middle and vote for Trump? It makes her a candidate, even though a lot of people don't like her on the Trump side. That really doesn't matter. If it gets them the election, I think everyone would be happy with that. Let's watch the rest.
Virginia is also holding an open primary, and she could do well in the suburban areas near D.C. Both states also host Democratic presidential primaries tonight, where Biden is widely expected to win.
Now, those are just the first prizes of the night. 16 states and 1 territory today, including the 2 biggest states, Texas and California. A lot of delegates there.
Indeed. On the Republican side, there are 854 delegates up for grabs tonight. That is more than 70% of what is needed to clinch.
Hey, I got something to say. I got something to say. First of all, Derek says, Super Tuesday. I voted for Nikki Haley, Dallas, Texas. Good for you, Derek. Thanks for taking part in an election. And anyone who's talking trash to Derek, shut up. Who cares? Not everyone has to love your candidate. What is this? This isn't like, I don't understand. Is this The Bachelor and only one person can get a rose? Let's try to, holy gosh.
What?
Thanks for the donation. Bonner, wow. That's going to pay some bills. We appreciate you. Thank you. That is an unbelievably generous donation. Now get off this guy's nuts. He can say whatever he wants. If he wants to vote for Haley, then he votes for Haley. Who cares?
Yeah, Kristen said it best. He voted. That's all that matters.
That's right. He voted. Good for him. I'm proud of him. Good for you, dude. Screw my viewers. Don't listen to him. Actually, I'm kidding.
Sweep them all 15 states on the Republican side, and set up a showdown with Joe Biden in the fall. He steamrolled through the early contests, and tonight he's hoping for a knockout blow.
Challenger Nikki Haley fighting tooth and nail to stay in the race. The math does not look like it is in her favor. She has no clear path at this moment to the nomination.
On the Democrat side, President Joe Biden wants another 4 years. He has also marched through the early nominating states, despite his party remaining deeply divided about the prospect of him returning to the White House, concerned about age, his mental fitness, other things.
Buckle up, everybody. We have reporters all over the country covering the candidates, the issues, the mood
Thank
of
you,
the
Bonner.
electorate in
Thank
America.
you very much.
Our great panel is here all night. We'll kick things off with our man at the billboard, Mr. Bill Hammer.
Hey
Hi,
guys,
Bill.
Stevie View. It's going to buckle up, right? I mean, I think we're going to be here a while, aren't we? Nice to see you all. Let's do a little introduction of what we're looking at here on Super Tuesday as we get kicking off. Let me come back to this area in a moment here, because we're talking about the early poll closings. Think about Vermont. Think about Virginia. Think about those areas that 8 years ago were kind of soft toward John Kasich and sort of favorable to Marco Rubio. That's the areas we're kind of looking at so far tonight. So let's get this thing going here. This is Vermont right now. Nothing is on the board. But if you went back 8 years, you would see where John Kasich did real well around the capital city.
Thank
and
you,
points to the
Brewster.
west over there. Let's bump on
Appreciate
down.
you.
And I'll see. Yeah, give me a shot here. There we go. So nothing
Appreciate
in just
y'all.
yet.
Thank you so much. That
We
means
said
the
it was
world.
early,
We
right?
can't
I
thank
mean,
you
it's
enough.
With a capital E. 8 years ago, this is what we saw in Virginia. We saw Marco Rubio in this sort of blue-teal color here doing really well in the outskirts of Washington, D.C. There's a big counties. big population, 1, 2, and 3 throughout the entire Commonwealth, located right here. We also did very...
Blankman, knock it off.
What's he saying? I'm not seeing.
Last time.
What's he saying?
Last time forever. Knock it off. No more. Thank you.
Right here. We also did very well around Richmond, too, in the suburbs in Charlottesville off to the west. So those pockets could be right for Nikki Haley tonight to go ahead and get in there and get some delegates and maybe put up a bit of a challenge.
Santana says, my son asked me last night if I would rather have the documents of freedom or Red Friday hoodie. Here's the greatest thing, Santana. Tell your son both. If you have 2 kids, give one to one and one to the other and call it good. They're both fantastic, by the way. It's going to be interesting.
Turned out.
You let us know.
She won the capital city of Columbia and Richland County. She won her hometown of Charleston and also the county just the south of her. And if you went back 8 years ago, look what Marco Rubio did. This is kind of our benchmark that we were using on that Saturday night to give you a sort of a relationship to how we're judging how the candidates are doing. In the end, Rubio only won 2 counties.
And
we're going to skip forward a little bit.
Be the nominee at the convention.
The question is whether the hatred of Trump is really...
Okay, let's get to the numbers here, folks, because they're starting to call
in the way she needs it. It's a...
All right, first things first. Virginia, 27.3%, 71%, less than 1%. That's just initial. That's going to change, and that's going to narrow, I believe.
Trump's party.
Bert, what do you think happens tonight?
Well, I'm interested in 2 things particularly. I'm interested in what Donald Trump will say tonight, and I'm interested tonight in what Joe Biden will say on Thursday night at the State of the Union address. I think those are the 2 big things worth watching. Whether Trump will be conciliatory, whether he'll be generous, whether he'll be reaching out to try to do what he says he wants done, the uniting of the party. As for Biden, we'll be watching to see if he doesn't fall off the rostrum.
Yeah. Well, we saw he was very bitter towards Nikki Haley up in New Hampshire, and then
All right, let's get up here. We got to get this almost live.
And in fact, if you remember, at this
All right,
point
there's
during the Democratic...
something that's a little more realistic. So if we take a look and go back just a second, take a look at Virginia, I think it's going to be closer to a 58-42 type split, closer to New Hampshire than we would see what happened in Ohio. Virginia, the problem is that a lot of the upper northern areas, Ashburn, Fairfax, Loudoun County, are predominantly heavy on that line. Alexandria are very much liberal areas, and those are going to take longer to come in. So when we start seeing that, we can see these clusters in these counties, a lot of this is going to be the rural areas, the places with 500 like our town, or surrounding areas that are going to get in really fast with their calls because they're counting in real time, versus these areas with 300,000-400,000 people, which are going to take a little bit longer to come in. So anticipate Haley closing the gap in Virginia, but not to a point where I believe that she can overtake Donald Trump. I just think it's going to be a lot closer than 70-30. I don't see many of those races unless it's a place like, like we saw in Montana and other red states that are extremely depth-ridden Republican who don't like anyone but Trump, which is a lot of them, if we can go ahead and be honest.
He wanted to dismantle everything President Trump had done. And in fact, if you remember, at this point during the Democratic primary, right before Super Tuesday, President Biden and all the nominees for the Democrats raised their hand and said that they would be for decriminalizing crossing the border.
We will have Thursday night. I forgot. I didn't forget, but State of the Union Thursday night. I will be here. Olivia won't. We'll break down the State of the Union together. That was so fun last year. We blew Biden a new one, and it'll be a good time to watch. So make sure you come back Thursday.
Number one issue, surpassing the economy in 2024 as an issue means that this is a deep-seated issue. People are seeing it where the pictures every day. I was surprised that Bill Malugin didn't say, and look right behind me, there's more people coming across. Because every time you go to Bill Malugin, there's people there no matter where he is.
Yeah.
And so you have a crime issue, you have an economy issue. People in America want a legal system that works. We want immigrants to come here. But President Biden, I believe, is going to try to demonize all Republicans. And he likes to tag all Republicans with that MAGA line, and I don't think it will work in the end, but watch him try.
Bill Melugin, I think, has a condo in Eagle Pass. I'm not sure. Britt, really quickly, making U.S. safer, improving border security with independence, this president is completely underwater. I'm talking.
Amy, thank you for the order of the elusive Get Me My Pot Pie t-shirt, which Olivia is stoked because she loves her pot pie t-shirt. So thank you, Amy, for ordering that. It's over at thedumbshow.com. Thank you so much.
20 to 75.
He is, and I think Dan is right that he's going to try in the State of the Union address to address the issue. And he'll make the very claims she cited about the bill that came out of the Senate. It was a bipartisan bill and did have a lot of things that, for example, the Border Patrol Union wanted to see passed. In fact, they endorsed the bill, and the Republicans ultimately rejected it. And I think he'll argue that point endlessly.
No,
and,
the union did. There's a very big difference.
Look, there's some truth in that. It at least gives him something to say. I don't think it's going to overcome 3 years of what people have witnessed with this streaming people across the border, almost seemingly unchecked. So I think it's a tough issue for him, but he, at least at this moment, has something to say.
But Republicans obviously point to H.R. 2, executive orders. They can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I've been fighting this issue off the border since 1996 when Bill Clinton did Operation Gatekeeper and was actually really good on the border in San Diego. My first report ever was on the border. So it's an issue I think I know something about.
There it is, Liv, the pot pie
the fact
shirt.
of the matter is people have gotten really smart on this issue. They knew that the so-called bipartisan bill didn't include anyone with real credibility on immigration. If they were really serious, they would have brought in Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and said, look, we got to get something done. Yeah. Sit down with us. What do you need? Because we want to get this Ukraine funding. We got to get this funding for Ukraine. What do you need? They never did that. That showed me from the beginning they weren't serious. They didn't really want a border bill. They wanted the issue politically. And I would submit tonight that Mitch McConnell.
So there you go. There's what I expected to see. So you can see that 60-40 split. I expect that to hold in Virginia and Vermont. See, folks, the thing I was trying to explain to you is a lot of people think that it's Democrats voting for Haley. This couldn't be further from the truth. Actually, if you take a look at Iowa, specifically New Hampshire, these Democrat votes that you're saying, I know you guys are seeing people come out and say, hey, I'm a Democrat, I'm voting for Haley. What would you say if Fox News was there and you love Trump? I know what I would say. It's not necessarily that that's not happening. Of course it's happening. It's happening, no doubt. But when it's 0.06 of the overall vote count, you're discrediting what Haley's doing, and she is doing some very interesting things. This is Donald Trump. He has been the de facto vote since 2016. And for Haley to come in here from somebody who had less than 1%, and Trump said that over a year ago and laughed at her and said, I don't even recognize her as an opponent. She's only got 1%. To do what she's doing, polling 40% in some of these states, folks, that is a very big number. And you may not like to say that. You may not want to admit that, but that is, Nikki has a voice. And whether you like it or not, a lot of people, before she decided to run, wanted to see her as a VP ticket or DeSantis. You're probably going to see Nikki Haley again. You're going to see DeSantis, especially if Trump finally realizes and says, I got to get Haley because she's going to give me 15 to 20% of the vote in the country. She's going to increase my penetration with college, white, educated males. She's going to help me with the suburban women that have left, not the women who are on this show, of course. He's already got you. We're talking about the ones that he didn't expand from 2016 to 2020. In fact, he stayed the exact same from the 4% and 3%. His vote count increased, but the percentage of the vote, 4% of males, 3% of males, Joe Biden gained that 7%. And that's ultimately was that 90,000 that he lost in those 3 states. So Trump has to close that. If he can guarantee 15 to 20% by putting Haley on the ticket, he'll have to hold his nose. He's going to piss off his base, but they don't care. He can do anything. Then he guarantees them an election. This is what he did with Mike Pence. A lot of people were not happy with Mike Pence. They said he was a neocon. He was an insider. He's from the Hill. Well, he delivered them a lot of those religious southern states and Mideastern states. So let's go ahead and let's see what happens tonight. But this is what I expect. I don't expect this to go well in the other 13 states that Trump and Haley are in. I think Trump is going to dominate. But these two are interesting. It's going to give her some delegates, and that keeps her somewhat in the race. Here we go.
Not a serious effort from day one, regardless of the big PR buildup.
And Bill Clinton, in his State of the Union address, said, we are a nation of immigrants, but we're a nation of laws. And he got applause on all sides of
criminal
the aisle.
aliens, he referred to them as,
That's
I
right.
believe. Yeah.
That's right. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. A live look across the country now as voters make their voices heard on this night of Super Tuesday.
All right, Virginia's been called. That's what I expect. I think you're still going to see 60-40 to 38-62 split by the end of the night. I think when we get those Alexandria, Ashburn locations, you're going to see that tighten. And that will have her pick up a couple more delegates, but ultimately that's still what we've been seeing, essentially, especially in the Northeast for Haley, is about that 30 to 40% mark. I don't expect that trend to continue across the United States. I expect Trump to mop the floor with her in some locations, but I think there is an opportunity for at least for her to overperform nationally. And what would be an overperformance? 15%. If she goes into these states that are predominantly red, Donald Trump country, and she gets 15%, that is a huge number. It's the number that I said if she comes out nationally on Super Tuesday and beyond at 15% of the national vote, Donald Trump's going to have to really make some tough decisions here and how he is going to confront her and bring her into the fold, because he would just be a fool not to. And any president would. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or anyone else. What was the question, Liv?
Oh, Melanie put an order in, her iPad messed up, and she's not sure if it went through. So
I will check it, and I'll be right with that just now.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no, she did. She made it last Thursday or Friday, and she's just not sure if it.
Oh
actually
yeah, it went through. Yeah,
it did go through.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
good.
I'll double check, but yes, I'm almost positive it went through.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead and play this and get caught up
Super
here.
Tuesday. More from our Fox Decision Desk.
Right here, come on. Enrico.
See, those northern areas aren't in
Commer
yet.
call the number on your screen. Use that promo
Commer
code
call
to get
in
deep
progress.
discounts on all
Yeah.
lights.
That's what it sounded like.
It did sound like that.
It
Just like
sounded
Hayden.
like that.
Folks, there's something you don't know about me. I am very strong at predicting elections. This is how I kind of started the show, 2020. A lot of people watched me and Crowder. Crowder had 11 million. I had 3,000. I wish I had his audience, but I didn't. But we were there all night. Also in 2022 and 23, we covered the elections here. This is something I'm passionate about. You can see the number getting closer to that 60-40 split, like I said it would be. I understand this because I've been watching this since I'm 6 years old. I know that sounds crazy, but I was always mesmerized by the blue and red states. And actually, it switched. Thank you, Vicky, for becoming a subscriber. You can actually become a subscriber on Facebook right now, Dumb Nation. But we are getting a club. We'll have that soon with more information. But I was always enamored with all the blue and red. And what I did is I had a jigsaw states map that you would pick it up, and it would have like Colorado, and you'd see the Rockies. You pick up Iowa, and you'd see corn, and you would put these little states back in order on a wooden cutout so you could learn where the states were. Well, I got my crayons and I colored all of them red and blue, and I would change based upon the electoral map. Now, red used to be Democrats, and blue used to be Republicans, but that's just a little history there, and that was a while ago. But it doesn't matter. I've loved this stuff. So what I try to do is give you a perspective, what you can anticipate happening, and then go ahead and back that up with watching the results and either eating crow and apologizing or saying, hey, guess what? I was right. Most of the time it's right. Just want to let you know because I love this stuff. Virginia, 64-33, still going. And looks like my state of Virginia is going with Donald Trump, which is to be expected.
Tonight, he is predicting there could be 15 wins tonight. The former president
Happy anniversary, Kristen.
As you look at the board,
On my
we'll see if
birthday.
that holds up.
Yep.
Speaking of the board.
Let's go to Bill Hemmer and get a look at what happened in Virginia.
I don't know, Don. We've been on for a while.
Two states, really. I'm going to break this down for you in Virginia. Remember,
All right, so Bill Hemmer's excellent at this, but I just wanted to show you that the states, you can see my pointer here. I'm going to make this yellow here in a second. You're going to see a lot of these areas from Richmond up north, Virginia Beach. You're going to see Northern Virginia. This is Nova. A lot of these big areas still, especially along this beltway here, are all Washington, D.C. plants. So you're going to see people who are either Democrats, independents, unregistered, disenfranchised, all live right in this area. They are an elite class. This will come in for Haley. You'll see some votes down here come in for Haley. And then you will see possibly a little bit of the western part of the state be so very, very red. This is where Olivia and I live, right here on this border in West Virginia, where you're going to see that be Trump territory. This county that we live in is extremely Trump heavy, and the closer you get to West Virginia, is going to perform that way. So, Liv, anything to add on that?
No.
I love you.
You are the You're the
You're right
political
here,
dude.
okay?
I know.
I'm just the looks of the show.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's where the people live, right? About 5% state population. You see where Trump did so well. This might be part of the reason why you make such an early call. Okay, so that's impressive for the Trump team. Down here around Richmond, let me just go pop in here a second, see if I can nail this right here. Come on. Henrico County, okay, only 12% counted, but that's an impressive number there, about 60%. The reason I say that is because of what Rubio did 8 years ago. So let me come back to that moment. I want to show you what Trump's secret sauce is. In Virginia, you're going to likely see it in North Carolina. You're going to see it in Tennessee. You're going to see it in Alabama. You're going to see it in Arkansas, all across the country tonight. And that is the rules, right down here along the border with North Carolina. Let me just go tapping around here, okay? Keep your
see these
eye
dominant
on this number
numbers
here. You're almost 79% here. Hop on over to Halifax. You're at 89% there. I'll jump back over here. Brunswick County, 83%. Let me go down here toward the border with Kentucky and find out what we've got. All right, you're at 87%.
Now, this is what I was trying to tell you. These would be absolute. If she pulls 15% in these areas, that's a win for Nikki Haley. These border counties are very much Donald Trump. And the reason why is a lot of the major cities are on the eastern side of the seaboard where the waterways are, or in the middle of the states. And that's a way a lot of eastern states are built, especially on the eastern seaboard. Virginia is that way. Maryland is that way. We can go on and on and on. The point being is she should not perform exceptionally well along the border of West Virginia and North Carolina. But a lot of those states that were gray that you saw are essentially Donald Trump is going to find a challenge to hold an 80-10 split. It won't happen, or an 80-20 split. These are so very, very rare. It usually are low count states. So once more of the votes come in, you'll see it narrow a little bit overall. But this is why it's been declared, is because these rural areas add up, and he's overperforming in the predominantly moderate to slightly left or slightly right counties. And so that's why Fox calls these. And a lot of people are like, well, why do they call it so early? Well, that's why, because a lot of these areas, he has those guaranteed locked up at a 90-10 or an 80-20 split. But he is overperforming in those big counties, and Haley would have to literally crush him with a 60-40 flip in order to go ahead and have a chance. She's not doing that. That's not the way the trends are, and they're not going to go ahead and push that towards her when they have such a large quantity of votes actually in at this point. Okay.
7%, a little closer here, 94%. Wow, I mean, he's just running up the score, guys, 92.5%, and on it goes in the rurals there in the state of Virginia, hence the reason why it's been called for Trump tonight. The Haley team thought, hey, if there's a chance we can win a state tonight, might be Vermont, it might be Virginia. Right now, Virginia is off the table. Let me just, while I got you, let me see what's happening in Vermont. I haven't checked this in some time here. All right, too soon the call. She has a slight lead. You've got about, 9% of the vote.
Now
being
that's
tabulated
interesting.
So far.
Montpelier is coming in Haley. This is interesting. Now that's not Donald Trump's not going to like that. He's not going to like that at all. Expect something very quickly. Now remember, there's people watching in the Central Time Zone, in the Mountain Time Zone, and in the Pacific Time Zone right now watching this. And if he comes in with Virginia and she takes Vermont, that's going to have an impact in these outside. Once again, this isn't about Haley winning. This is about Haley taking as many delegates as she can, so it's relevant. If she breaks 100 delegates tonight, she very well may stay in. We've got to see. This is very, this is very up in the air. It's not that Donald Trump's not going to win. It's a question of how much real estate, how much market share can Nikki Haley take in order to stay relevant. Right now, that's a very sizable lead. I know it's only 357 votes. This is Vermont, folks. Like, you've got, 20, 30,000 that you might see possibly in this vote, maybe, and a few beavers. So it looks like a couple beavers voted for Haley.
Good. Amy had a good question. Why is it called Super Tuesday?
Because it's Tuesday and it's super. The most primary states that really kind of kick it off is why. This is the largest. Usually you'll see 1s and 2s, possibly 3s and 4s, but the largest portion of of the biggest states. I mean, the fact that you have Texas and you have California showing up in this, that's massive. So
it's basically the kickoff of voting season.
It's really the decision that usually decides who is going to be the nominee. This is kind of when it happens. Unless it's a very close race, this is usually a person will be very close to the amount of delegates, 1,200 plus, that they need to be the nominee, and they usually hit it here. But we're in a very rare situation where you actually have two people this late in the race running and are still taking considerable numbers. One being, Donald Trump is just crushing, but Haley's taking enough to stay relevant. And that's where this is interesting. This is where you get contested elections. This is what happened in 76 with Ronald Reagan at the National Convention, where he essentially was going to hold it hostage. And they said, listen, we'll let you run for 1980. We will back you. We will support you. You are the de facto nominee. Just endorse and back the hell off. Ronald Reagan did, and then wound up becoming the president in 1980, 1984. This also happened with Bernie Sanders when Bernie Sanders held it hostage for Hillary Clinton and didn't want to give up his votes. Ted Cruz did this during 2016 with Donald Trump. So this isn't the first time where you have the rumblings of a contested election. And the more she gets, the more opportunity she would have to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to break the convention and we're going to go ahead and do a floor count and have these states call in now, while her people spin and obviously try to rally some of these state delegates to turn on Trump and vote for her, and vice versa. So we don't want a contested election in our convention. We have no desire for that. We want to have a clear winner tonight, and then hopefully Nikki Haley, if she does well, she can stay in it for a while and then continue to vie for that vice president position, which I think, honestly, if she continues to show up at that 15%, she's earned it. And nobody may like to hear that, but that's the truth. She's not my favorite person. I've never picked her to be president, but I always said that either DeSantis or Trump would pick Haley for VP because they would need to, and it would honestly propel them into the office. And then we could see a 2028 Nikki Haley run with a DeSantis coming in as VP. And that is a very, very attractive ticket, or a Youngkin coming in. Both would be very interesting for the Republican Party, and it shows a bench for the Republican Party that the Democrats don't have. Sure, Newsom's going to show up, but who's going to run with Newsom? This is interesting. So anyway, that's why we're going to watch, and we're going to continue to do this, okay? Sorry for talking so much. I get excited.
Carolina? Yeah, it was going to do it right here with 74 delegates in North Carolina, because the polls just closed in North Carolina about 7-8 minutes ago. What Haley's going to try and do, again, population centers, remember?
That's huge.
This is Raleigh, this is Wake County. It ranks population-wise 1 out of 100. Okay, so there's
this is early, but North Carolina is not necessarily all Trump country.
Charlotte, this is 2 out of 100. Nikki Haley has a
big
slight
number.
lead there, but again, we're just talking about 500, 400, about 1,000 votes so far in Charlotte. The pattern I just showed you guys here in Virginia.
I said Virginia up in the northern areas, Tina, would go like Washington, D.C. Virginia's going to be closer than you see.
As we move throughout the night,
but I don't believe she was ever going to win it.
And also along the Atlantic Ocean as well.
North Carolina is really interesting.
Side of North Carolina. That is Trump's secret sauce. That is where he wins. Tonight he's going to do it again, and we're going to see it state by state.
So Scott said, saying Nikki Haley won't concede tonight as her powerhouse won't let her. I don't think it's her power. Well, maybe her powerhouse, maybe the people who've donated. That's possible. But if she shows up like she's showing up right now and this goes national and she's actually contesting in some of these states, she shouldn't leave. Folks, my job, I want to cheerlead for Donald Trump, okay? Because I like Donald Trump. I do. I really, really do. He frustrates me sometimes, but I still like him a whole hell of a lot. But I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine up your ass like other people are. Donald Trump's got this locked up. I've seen too many of these primaries. I've seen too many Super Tuesdays where things go amok. This isn't the first time. So to see North Carolina, to see Vermont, thanks, Marie, for becoming a subscriber on Dumb Nation. To see some of these states be closer than we thought, that shouldn't scare anybody. That should make people go, wow, the Republicans have a lot of people who are interested in voting. And Donald Trump, this isn't the 2016 Donald Trump. This isn't even the 2020 Donald Trump. These numbers are not indicative of what he did Nikki Haley is polling a considerable amount of votes. And for anyone to sit here and say these are all Democrats, it's ridiculous because that's not what the numbers say. In fact, the numbers don't even remotely say that. There are people, of course there are. But there's also Democrats who are voting for Donald Trump, too. Remember, over 1.7 million since 2020 have left the Democratic Party and come over to the Republican side. Some of those obviously are not comfortable with voting for Donald Trump, so they'll vote for Nikki Haley. You need to open up your mind here. Democrats aren't the enemy. Republicans aren't the enemy. It's the complete far left and the complete far right, which are the enemy to our parties and to our belief systems. Those people do not have the same ideologies as most conservatives, and 90% of the states do not have that mentality. That is what we need to be completely ever present and aware of when we're talking about this, okay? So let's go ahead and keep watching.
All right.
So let's go to Mark Meredith. As we have just mentioned, North Carolina's the polls are closed. We're waiting for more results there, but he's on the ground in Raleigh. Hi, Mark.
Martha, good evening to you. We are watching two major contests here in North Carolina. The first, the one that you and Bill were just talking about, the presidential primary, Nikki Haley and Donald Trump both making stops in the Tar Heel state, trying to get out the vote in these final days. But the second race, and one the entire country is going to be talking about by November, the race to be North Carolina's next governor. And here's why. You are likely going to see the two candidates for this Democratic and Republican challenge both come at each other from the extremes of their party. At least that's how they're going to try and portray each other. Republicans going in tonight were looking likely to back Mark Robinson, the state's lieutenant governor. Trump endorsed him over the weekend, even calling him at one point Martin Luther King on steroids. While Robinson appears to be a rising star within the Republican Party, he is still quite controversial. He's made a lot of controversial comments in the past on things like guns and gay rights. And Democrats in the state will try to weaponize those words against him if he proves to be victorious tonight. Democrats also having a number of different candidates to choose from for governor.
And there's the gap on North Carolina.
Governor, he is
Understand, I can't imagine that Haley is going to be super competitive in North Carolina. These are the early votes. This is the same thing we saw in Virginia, where she was much closer. I can't imagine that North Carolina, there's a lot of fans of Donald Trump there. But if she can stay at 50%, 45%, holy crap, folks, you don't understand. I mean, that's a huge win. The fact that she's being somewhat competitive in Vermont, somewhat competitive in North Carolina, she was somewhat competitive in Virginia. These are all very good signs for her campaign that she continues. But remember what I told you she delivered. If everyone listens to my show, I told you she'll deliver you the East Coast. She will give you all those East Coast uptight conservatives who don't like Trump. They will come to her and they will vote for her. And Trump needs those states. He needs those votes. He's got to ensure he doesn't lose ground in places like Iowa, places like South Carolina. He has to take Ohio. He can't lose those places. And unfortunately, he hasn't necessarily demonstrated that he's gained in these battleground states that were contentious in 2020, which were obviously Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. We can go up to Wisconsin and Michigan. And we haven't seen any trend in 2022 or in the midterms primary that he's turned that tide. So he's got to get these votes from somewhere. He's got to get that 7% gap I told you. It's not that I'm so on board with Haley. I'm just a political strategist, and I'm telling you, politics makes strange bedfellow. And he can say all those things he wants right now, and she can say all those things. It doesn't matter. If she can deliver him the election, she will be the vice president for Donald Trump, no matter what he says.
Behind the Attorney General Josh Stein, a 57-year-old vowing to campaign on climate change as well as the economy. But North Carolina, Martha, certainly a state a lot of people are going to be talking about between now and November. Martha?
Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, we've been talking about immigration, but also crime is a top concern for voters all across the country. Alexis McGavin.
No, Jennifer, she's not getting all, and I appreciate your opinion. There's difference between opinion and fact. And if you're making an opinion, she's getting all the Democrat votes. That's not accurate. In fact, if you take a look at every single state, you can look at Iowa, you can look at New Hampshire, you can look at Virginia, you can look at the Carolinas, you can even look at what's happening tonight. She is taking in a modicum of Democrat registered voters. In fact, it's not allowed in every single state. Some states are strictly Republican primaries, and they can't switch up until a certain period of time before the election. This is a talking point, and it's not true. And honestly, it's disingenuous because what you're seeing is a lot of these votes, there are some blue-collar Democrats who lean conservative fiscally or lean conservative socially who are coming across the aisle. But those people are doing that too. We saw 1.7 million Democrats leave the Democrat Party and are aligning with either the independent platform or the libertarian platform or the Republican conservative platform who are considering voting for Donald Trump. I'm certainly, you want those in the fray. You're not going to sit here and say, well, Donald Trump got Democrat votes, right? You don't care. Who cares what type of votes they are? Nikki Haley certainly doesn't care. But to say that those votes are a large percentage is completely disingenuous. These votes are a little mixture of everything. Libertarians, these are people who haven't voted in a while, who are inspired by her. There's people who haven't voted in a while who are inspired by Donald Trump. These are people who are upset with the 2020 results, and they're getting out there because they believe that another 4 years of Biden won't help. So when we sit here and say that Nikki Haley got all those Democrat votes, I think what we're ultimately doing is trying to dismiss that she was 1% a year ago, and now she's making a viable push that is impacting Donald Trump. He wouldn't be talking about her. He wouldn't be speaking about her on every occasion he gets unless she was gaining ground. For him to acknowledge her in politics is one of the worst mistakes you could ever make. The only time you acknowledge somebody in a race is when that person is running a race that you are afraid of. Donald Trump isn't afraid of Haley, but he obviously knows that he may need her votes. So what he has to do is keep enough distinction between the two of them without pissing off her side so they continue to move to him when she gets out. This is the problem, is they're not moving to him. They're not coming over. They're staying with Haley. And that right there is probably very concerning to the Trump campaign. So it's really important on this show that we stay factual. And I'm not lecturing you. You can say whatever you want. Just know that I'm going to counteract it with facts. And if we would like to go over the numbers, I have no problem doing that. I can open up every single primary for you and show you the breakdown based upon voter registration. And it was 0.6% in Iowa. 0.6. It was less than 1,400 votes. We have to be honest, okay? That's important. All right, thanks.
Alexis McAdams has a closer look at that. Good evening, Alexis.
Hey, Brett. Well, when you're out on the campaign trails, you talk to people, and they speak about everything from violent crime to migrant crime. It's incidents like this on your screen that have people all across the country on edge, from smash and grab robberies in Virginia to brutal beatdowns out in California. These crimes that you're looking at there on the screen, you can see the guy waving a gun and the beatdown there in the corner.
So I can't show that stuff. Somebody says, let's see, whoever is VP, they're the ones that will run in 2028 and hopefully 2032, so it matters. Well, that's true and false. I mean, the most recent I can tell you is 2016, Joe Biden didn't run for president. So that's not always true. Let's look at Dan Quayle. I mean, the vice president doesn't, in fact, it's more often than not that we see the vice president doesn't run. And the reason why is because it depends upon the overall approval rating from the United States and the constituents. And a lot of people aren't happy with an administration that's leaving, whether they're incumbents or not. So, but it is safe to assume that with a one-term America going back to a Republican president, assuming that happens, that they would more than likely use that VP to propel into 2028 and 2032. It does matter, of course. But here's the thing. Nikki Haley is a conservative. You don't have to like her. But for anyone to say that you would vote for Tulsi Gabbard, but you wouldn't vote for Nikki Haley, that is the most crazy, completely nonsensical thing I've ever heard in my life. Because your claim is that Nikki Haley is a neocon and is a Democrat, when Tulsi Gabbard is a Democrat. Tulsi Gabbard's she's not even a Republican. She's an independent. Nikki Haley's voting record as governor and voting and her support and stance with UN from a geopolitical standpoint completely aligned with conservative principles. You can't call her a war hawk because she's never actually introduced any type of legislation or proposed anything in the UN for war. So she's never been in a position to do that. That's like saying an ice cream man is an expert shuffleboard player. That's nice. I mean, you can say it, but it doesn't mean that just because you say it, it's true. I am not here to defend Nikki Haley. I'm here to question your narrative that you've been fed, and for you to assume that she's a Soros or a Democrat plant. I think that we've had enough of that, haven't we? Haven't we had enough of these unrealistic things that Donald Trump's still running the country and he's coming back and there's a military tribunal? And aren't we tired of losing? Because I just want to be honest with you, to be transparent. Since 2016, we haven't won anything. Zero, zilch, nada. We've lost House seats. We lost Georgia. We lost the Senate. The only thing we've had positive for the Republican Party is Donald Trump and putting in these SCOTUSes who have saved our bacon. But let me tell you, we got 2 SCOTUS seats that are going to be up in the next election, folks. And that quickly can turn right back around for us losing, as we have 79 out of the last 100 years has been a Democrat-run SCOTUS. If we want that back, if you want to see Roe v. Wade back on the ticket, if you want to see Remain in Mexico to be considered unconstitutional, if you want to have insurrection, expanded court, you want to have Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. as a state, keep screwing around with stuff that doesn't matter and focus on the win. We got to get the win. You get the win, you get the judges, and that is the only thing that stops liberals from completely trampling the Constitution, okay? I shouldn't have to sell you on that with what you saw just 2 days ago with ballot removal from those 31 states. The SCOTUS did their job, okay? Real important, folks. Real important. Keep focused.
Party. And then, having beaten Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, he took all sorts of staffers that worked for them and placed them in his administration, which led to a lot of the policies that Steve Ratner, Larry Summers, other Democrats saying, whoa, guys, this is going to cause inflation. And they turned out.
See, Shane, Nikki Haley is not a true conservative. Give me examples. Please tell me on her voting record what she's voted for where she's not a conservative. Please give me examples, and I'll respectfully address those to you. Please give me something that is a liberal initiative that she imposed inside as governor or UN geopolitically that she said that went against Donald Trump. Please tell me, because I don't think you can. But try to anyway, because I'm pretty confident I know a lot about her.
Lauren, point is, a guy who I know well, who should not be worried about these things, about the steadiness. I ask him, what do you worry about the most? He goes, my refrigerator.
She was pro-Ukraine war. So is every other Republican. There's very few Republicans who haven't voted on those bills to put money towards Ukraine. And let's make sure we understand when we say pro-Ukraine. There's pro-Ukraine war. And then there's we've spent $160 billion, and if we pull out right now, we'll have to be back there in 5 years, and we'll spend $1 trillion. We've learned this mistake, haven't we? So I'm not going to sit here and take a single issue candidate and destroy them because they believe in something that I don't support. If that's true, and you, Steve, you believe that Nikki Haley, because she supports Ukraine war, that immediately that disqualifies her, then please explain to me, Donald Trump supported the vaccines. Are you a proponent of the vax? And if you are, then that says a lot. And if you aren't, then why are you supporting Donald Trump? Do you see how myopic that thought process is? We don't sit there and consider the situation, right? We don't sit there and say, well, Donald Trump did Operation Warp Speed. Donald Trump believed in these things. Donald Trump was trying to look to help the United States and the American citizens, and he felt that this was the best thing for him. Well, you know what? He just went ahead and supported them again 2 weeks ago. Now, how do you feel? Can you vote for Donald Trump knowing that? So when we talk about a single issue candidate, that is the kiss of death. Yes, there's things that Nikki Haley believes that I don't like, and there's things that Donald Trump believes that I don't like. There's things that Joe Biden believes that I do like. In fact, I do appreciate some of the things he's done with MRAP's vehicles, also with veterans. There's 4 bills he passed in 2022 that I actually gave him credit for. You have to look at the big picture, and what you're doing is you're looking at a talking point. You're looking at the thing that what you've heard from other shows and said, well, this immediately damns Nikki Haley because she supports the Ukraine war. If you're going to say that, then you have to hold accountable the things that also Donald Trump has done that you disagree with, like Operation Warp Speed, right? Or banning bump stocks, or him supporting red flag laws. All of these things are true. And if you have to really be honest, can we go ahead and talk about also the fact that he supported the lockdowns and he initiated the lockdowns and he listened to Fauci. In fact, he gave Fauci a medal. Do you remember these things? So it's kind of strange that you guys have a selective memory on single issue topics that disqualify a candidate only when it comes to candidates that you don't like. But, you know, that's just what I do. It's not popular, but it's what I do.
Ready to break it because I got a big one. I'm not sure I could afford. The jolt it would have. And this is a guy 4 years ago I would not thought to have said these things. So it's hitting not just people we think when we look at the numbers and the income share, it's hitting a lot more people than we think.
That number about, just one thing, the emergency fund that people have, like regular people have emergency funds, they don't have an emergency fund. It's like 50% of the country can't afford a $1,000 unexpected bill. That's terrifying to live that way.
It is a Super Tuesday unlike any other, in part because of the pivotal role the Supreme Court is playing in this election. Our legal
American oil and natural gas. It's time to turn.
If this thing were called right now in Vermont, Donald Trump would take all these delegates.
See that? There you go. So you got 73-20. I didn't expect North Carolina. That was a shock. To see that number was shocking. And Vermont is what I expected. She's overperforming in Vermont, but this is closer to what I expected. I expected a 60-40, maybe a 55-45 split. I still think it's possible that I don't see her winning any. I think she gets swept in all 15. Like I said, her sweet spot is for places that she was going to be competitive. To push a 40 to 45% is a huge win. In places she's not supposed to be competitive, a 15% is a huge win. That should be really our barometer for the rest of the evening.
Take all these delegates, all right? Nikki Haley she was above that 50% number and dropped down about 7 or 8 minutes ago. So if you don't get the majority, then it goes by proportion if you're at a minimum of 20% throughout the state of Vermont. Now, Brett, do not ask.
Does everyone understand what he just said? So, Liv, did you pick up on that?
No.
Okay, so Vermont is a 20% or bust. If you don't get over 50%, if it's 50% or above, like Trump holds right now at 50.3, it's a winner take all. He takes all the delegates. But as long as she gets 20% and Donald Trump doesn't hit, he hits 49.9 and she gets 20.0 or 20.1, they will do a proportionate. And in that case, it would be a 5-20 split, or reduced down to the lowest common denominator would be a 1/5 split. So she would achieve roughly 20% of the delegates, and he would get 80% of the delegates. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I love you.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, beauty.
No, I'm.
Do you need to get off?
No, I'll be okay for a little bit longer.
All right.
Okay, because I'm going to need an encyclopedia, and I'm going to need a calculator, and I'm going to need AI is what I'm going to need.
Can you go to North Carolina real quick?
Dial that sucker in, okay? Here you are in North Carolina. We've called this race now, okay? Look, the numbers aren't big, but we called a race with 3% reporting. The reason you do that is because you've been in the field and you know what the voters are thinking and how they're reacting. I told you she had to do well in 2 areas. It seems like early on now she is. That's in Mecklenburg County. That's Charlotte. I mean, paltry numbers right now, but a slight majority there. In Wake County, where Raleigh is located, you got a lot.
Now, it's only 2%
of
this vote is in. North Carolina is going to be very interesting.
Have an appeal. We'll see how this goes right now. I mean, super early, just 845 votes in that tabulation. If we come back out here, okay, you got a lot still on the board, all right? And just hit 8 o'clock. Maine just closed. So did Tennessee. I was making the point about 15 minutes ago that in these rural counties in Virginia, Donald Trump's are running up the numbers. We expect to see the same in places like North Carolina and also here in the state of Tennessee, although I just checked this. And so, I mean, it's a gray slate at the moment, but it'll fill in throughout the night. So, let me try and check this in North Carolina.
JD, thank you, brother.
And just see if he's getting some of the numbers that I talked about.
Thank you for helping out.
Along this Virginia border. I would expect it to be the case. All right, you're at 76.7. Pop over here from Warren to Person. You're well over 80% there. Another county, Rockingham County. I mean, small numbers here, right? 58 and 12. You don't think much of it, but this is what Donald Trump will do across the country come November. And, well, okay, you're up 60% over here at the Tennessee border. All right, that's early. I mean, look, 2-point edge right there along the border with Tennessee. So we're off and going. I'll kick it back to you, but just for, okay, all right, Vermont. You're back at 51.0%. So that could be a critical number as we move throughout the night.
All right, we'll head back in moments.
Thank you, Bill. So it is 8:03 on the East Coast, and we'll bring in Jesse Waters, who is with us. Good to see you, Jesse. Good evening. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
Here comes the spin. Donald Trump is slaughtering Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is bloody and battled on the floor. She can't move. Donald Trump, of course, is, you know, I love Jesse, but Jesse's in the bag, baby.
Good evening. What do you make of what you've seen so far?
Well, Britt Hume gave me some advice. He said, Jesse, don't make any more predictions. So I won't be making any more predictions ever. And with Dana's permission, I'd like to make an analogy. Donald Trump is like political helium. He keeps rising and rising and rising. But he's also combustible. And everyone's worried about when's he going to pop. Is it going to be sabotage, prosecutors, his big mouth? But so far, He's risen above DeSantis, Haley, and he's been beating the pants off of Biden in the polls since Halloween. And there's a few reasons. One is because
This is the Jesse I
American
love.
people don't like dirty cops. And Joe Biden's gang of lawyers jumped Donald Trump. It was 6-on-1. They're kicking him, hitting him with raids, with fines, with mug shots. And Americans don't like that. They want to see a fair fight. We can sense that kind of injustice. And the American people have been impressed with how Donald Trump's not only held his own, but has given it right back to him. So his strength has been impressive. Number two, Donald Trump is running against Joe Biden, the oldest, probably the most unpopular president that we've ever seen. And he needs to get it together. And that's not a book plug, although you can pre-order it on Amazon if you wish. But he's now experiencing the worst stretch of his presidency since Afghanistan. You've had his own Justice Department say he's too senile to stand trial. Immigration's been dominant. You have Biden migrants now murdering American women. The stench of his son is wafting into the West Wing. And he can't get one ally to fight harder, the other ally to stop fighting. And it's just too expensive.
Texas, man, or Arkansas, 5% in. This is what I was talking about. These are these ungodly Trump-supporting states. Sorry, had a little mini stroke there. Got something in the throat. And
some water.
No. I just, when you do that, you get dry. And
Yeah.
anyway, for her to show 19%, a lot of people are like, that's an ass whooping. Well, it's going to be an ass whooping. But like I said, 15% nationally is all she has to average. And then she has a very large claim to say, I want VP. Because there's nobody else who's performing that. DeSantis didn't do that. You can't go with Scott. You can't go with anyone. Nobody's performed at that level in any of even their home states. So this is where you have to keep things in reality. You can anticipate a 70-30 split would be a huge win for her in a place like Arkansas. She's not going to get that. She's going to get crushed there. But that's what I told you to watch for, that 15%. This is one of those states. These are the Rust Belt states. You got to be careful because she's not going to perform well there. And that's because that's not what she brings to the table.
And it's too dangerous in this country. And now Donald Trump
Whoa,
is harvesting.
the gauntlet. The gauntlet's out today?
The what?
Diablo.
Usually stuff is released on Tuesday, yeah.
The gauntlet's out today. I just got a notification. Diablo just invited us and said, why aren't you playing the gauntlet? Holy crap. Sorry, folks. Welcome to... We're leaving. No, I'm kidding.
Is harvesting voters from Joe Biden's orchards. He's plucking
I
out...
want to thank the 275 people on tonight. It's great to have you here. We miss it. We love election season because that's when everybody comes out and goes, well, we can tolerate Matt because, he's an obnoxious dick, but he is right most of the time. And then you show up. So thanks for being here. We've got a ton on. 226 people on Facebook. Let me see.
There's like 220 some odd between Rumble, YouTube, and Facebook.
Yeah, we've got 31 on Twitter watching right now. That is huge. Thank you, guys. It's nice to see Twitter growing. We have got 176 on Facebook, 20 on YouTube, and then Rumble. Where are we at on Rumble, Liv?
We were 40-something, 44.
All right, so well
what
over.
What about Instagram? I can't see any numbers on Instagram.
Yeah, it's broken, but there are people here. There's been about 50 people to come on. So
I can't see any.
It doesn't
comments
matter.
on Twitter.
I
can see comments on Instagram, but not Twitter.
We love you. It's good to have you on here. Welcome to election season. We're gonna be here till November, folks, and you're gonna get the straight skinny here. We're not gonna BS you. We're not gonna tell you somebody's gonna win when we don't know because nobody knows. But we're gonna give you our best analysis. Olivia is definitely the face and the brains, and I'm just the guy that...
I'm just the face. I'm not the brains.
I tried.
I'm far from the brains.
All right,
but I'll be the face.
We love you. Here it is.
People putting it in the basket of deplorables and going along his way. And these people are coming willingly. Because if you policy, the contrast is so stark compared to what it was a couple of years ago. I just went out to get Jesse Jr. a birthday present. I wanted to get him a play gym. And I looked at the price tag of the play gym, Brett, and I passed out. And when they picked me up off the floor, they said plastic and lumber prices have tripled in the last couple of years. So now I'm basically paying for a second home to put in my backyard. And all it has is a slide and a swing set. And I'm just going to maybe just buy him a stick and tell him it's magic instead. It's too expensive. It's too dangerous. And the Republican Party is now more unified than the Democratic Party. And the Democrats are the ones on defense, having to answer for Joe Biden, having to answer about the border. They're trying to give the guy advice, and they're trying to tell him he might have to drop out. The Republican Party, for the first time I've seen in many, many years, is not constantly having to defend Trump controversies. And that's unifying the party. And if they can stay unified, I think they have a good shot at winning the White House.
You know, Jesse, you've spent a lot of time talking about the president and his own party having trouble with
Thank you,
concerns about
disciple.
his age
We appreciate
and mental
you.
fitness. He's upside down with independence on the border, on crime, on the
Thank you
economy.
so much.
And we heard from Michelle Obama's staff today that she officially is not running for president. She is supporting President Biden and Kamala Harris. You've said maybe there's another shoe to drop in the Democratic Party. You still think that's true?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, Brett, because if you read between the lines,
thank you,
she's
Jesse.
not saying
Thank you very much.
She wouldn't agree to be
Jesse's
drafted
mom.
at the convention in Chicago.
To some
her
Fox
hometown.
News fans. Thank you
She's saying she's not
so much,
running
everybody.
for
This really
president.
helps.
So there is a chance, and I'm not just saying that to titillate the audience, or maybe I am. But I personally, if I was Michelle Obama, I would not want to go anywhere near the White House. I have a great life, and I wouldn't want Barack
Michelle
telling
Obama.
me what to do.
Okay, I have heard this. So I'm with Dana Perino, and on this, and I've been saying this. Michelle Obama is never going to run for president. Okay, her husband, whether you want to believe this or not, and this isn't a conspiracy, he's a Muslim, and he's always been a Muslim. You look at his thesis, you look at his college papers, you look at his mentors, he's a Muslim. And you can pretend all you want. I'm not going to go into the birther bullshit. I don't believe any of that stuff. I don't believe he's a terrorist, but he is a Muslim. And there is no way that a Muslim man is going to allow his woman to show him up where he will become the first gentleman in history. It's just not going to happen. So you can pretend all you want that Michelle Obama is going to come out and run. She's not running. She'll never run. Obama will never allow it, okay? And nobody is going to give up $350 million on the lecture circuit over the next 4 years, so give me a break. She's not going to run. Joe Biden is the president. One president in the last 100 years has given up their incumbency. It's not going to happen with Joe Biden. He's in. It's 8 months away. There's no chance. The only thing is Joe Biden, God forbid something bad happens. That's the only way, okay? So no, Sarah, I don't mean that because I think that is a horrible lie. And there is nothing that I despise more than people disrespecting a first lady of our country or a president like that. I don't think that's okay. I don't even think it's funny. So for people that think that Michelle Obama's a guy, this isn't the show for you. Because I don't tolerate that stuff. That is a woman. She's somebody's daughter. That's somebody's wife. And if anyone ever said that to my wife, I know where I come from, that those are fighting words. So if we want to take on Obama, we want to take on Biden, they put themselves in the fray. Those ladies are married to those people. And it's just like when people go after Melania. I can't stand it. It's when they went after Barbara Bush and they went after Nancy Reagan. These women don't deserve anyone's ire, and they certainly don't need to be called transgenders or Mike. I just don't appreciate it. So that's just my opinion. I'm not mad at you. I just think that there is a level of respect that needs to increase in this country, and talking about a woman in that way is horribly abhorrent. That's my opinion. You don't have to like it, but there it is. You get what you get.
What to do?
Well, you know, I think that.
Wow is right, Martha.
Wow
is
wow,
right.
Wow. That's all I can say, Jesse. Just, you know, wisdom oozing out. So tell me something. You know, what do you think the plan would be, right? So when you look at these numbers that are extraordinary, as that Brett just pointed out, Biden is down 31 points, 47 points, 25 points.
No, Sarah doesn't need to be careful. Sarah is a huge fan of this show, and we love her. But it doesn't mean we can't disagree. Folks, I'm not the talking head that's going to let her and say things. This isn't about me agreeing or disagreeing. Until you see Michelle Obama hang out with her wang out, you're just contributing to the lowest common denominator of this country. Talk about her stupid plans that didn't work. Talk about how she did nothing as first lady. Talk about her husband. Talk about his bad policy. Talk about how she speaks about Republicans. Talk about all those things. Those are all fair game. But it's like the people that said Donald Trump wore Depends and he stunk of feces. It's not cool. It's not funny. It's so childish. So Sarah has nothing to be apologetic for. I'm just going to tell her kind of the way that I see things. It's a good way to get me to call you out, because you got to have some proof, man. And I've seen all the pictures, and I can show you the Photoshops that were done on those. And I can break them down for you because I've done shows on those. And a lot of people believe everything they see on the net. Well, I'm going to tell you, you guys are going to have a real hard time with artificial intelligence, because if you can't tell when something's been Photoshopped or manipulated to deceive you, then you are going to be in deep trouble when AI finally goes mainstream to a point where the lame Dick and Tom and Harry can use it. That's my point.
Caesar with independents, down 43 points in unifying the country. So is there any suggestion that they are genuinely looking for a plan B when they look at the way...
Yeah, Andre, blah, 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 blah. Well, that's just dizzying intellect, dude. Wow. I don't know what to say to that.
New York Times, Sienna.
There aren't any party elders that can come in and tell Joe it's time to go. Joe is the only party elder
Dorita, they messed with the picture, okay? Enough.
left. And you reach a certain age, you're stubborn. You're not going to just do what someone tells you to do. His wife's in it to win it. His son's in it to win it. And he feels like he's been able to beat Donald Trump before, and he'll do it again. You go into someone at that age's house and you try to adjust their thermostat, and it's World War III. Nothing can change. He's decided he's going to stick with it. And
yeah, Joe,
if he loses,
for sure.
It's probably better for the Democratic Party to lose with Joe Biden than to switch things out in a chaotic convention, leapfrog Kamala Harris, first black female vice president, and install a straight white male, Gavin Newsom, that could get licked by Trump himself, when he could just keep his powder dry for 4 years and run in an open primary.
Well, Jesse, we appreciate the...
Now, Karen, that is a completely reasonable question, because fashion has somehow been okay to question on people for a long time. I don't consider Jill Biden dresses like the curtain section in a JCPenney catalog. I thought Melania was one of the most flashy, attractive first ladies since Jackie O, but certainly there's a lot of people who don't like her, and I don't care. Oh yeah, here we go, Tom. Here's Tom flipping out. It's got to start with just a complete meltdown and then making and espousing some. How can you expect someone to listen to what you have to say when immediately I don't like you because of your first sentence? But let's go ahead and do it anyway. Tom says, you are absolutely out of your mind. Okay, well, you have nothing that proves that whatsoever. Michelle is, okay, and even Obama has said it. And no, he didn't. When? But give me a direct quote. I'll give you $10,000 live right now. I'll give you $10,000 cash live. To your Venmo or PayPal, I'll even gross up your taxes at 33%. Give me a statement, because I'm going to make millions off this. There's the link. Give it to me live right now. Show me where Barack Obama said that Michelle Obama was a man. Please show me. $10,000 cash right now. I'll do it live. I'll go right to your PayPal, right to your Venmo. I'll give you $10K. Show me. I don't need your money. Yes, you do. Everybody needs $10,000. Who doesn't need $10,000? The easiest $10,000 you've ever made. $10K, because I'm going to make millions on the book. Millions. I'll make millions of dollars on your book that you should write. You've got that information. Show it to me, because it's a lie. You guys are absolutely pathetic. Talk about Fox News has just gone to the bottom of the sewer. Well, it's so obviously you guys are controlled and paid so certain. Dude, unbelievably, I hope you all get fired. Dude, you're an idiot. Tom, I'm sorry. And I don't want to, yeah, I do. I want to insult you. This show is too much for you. There's plenty of other shows for you to go watch. Go watch those shows. This isn't the one for you, man. And it's okay, because we don't like you either. So it's a mutually assured type of thing. But I'll give you $10,000. You show me the proof. $10,000. $10,000, dude. All you got to do is come on live, Show me the proof. Show your face. Show me the proof. I'll give you $10,000 plus 33% gross up for taxes. You can't lose, dude. Just show me your proof. But you can't because you're lying. And that's okay. Some people lie and some people tell the truth, and that's what upsets you and it bothers you. That's okay. Okay? Good. Thanks for playing. Swipe right, bro. Tinder is available.
Appreciate the commentary and the use of the 8 o'clock hour.
It's my gift to you, Brett. Don't abuse it.
All right, final predictions for tonight. Is former President Trump going to rack up all these states, 15 in a row? And when do you think he mathematically clinches the nomination?
Well, that would go against the Brit Hume advice, so I'm just going to zip my mouth and say good luck.
All right, sir. Good luck on
with the
the
Playhouse.
playground. I mean, that's a big deal.
There's
I'll
some
pitch
building
in.
to do.
Thank you very much.
Cheryl, this is interesting, Cheryl. I got to read this one since, a lot of these, we're waiting for the top of the hour. So today, a friend sent a message to me. He told me I need to stop watching podcasts. I shared the Don't Unfriend Me morning show on my page. Apparently, he thinks I listen to too many and way too much. He told me I should give up listening to podcasts for Lent. Well, that's fine. I'll take a backdoor to Lent for a couple days. That's fine. No, I think it's fine. Listen, I guarantee there's people who listen to this show way too much. There's nothing wrong with getting outside, getting some fresh air, turning the TV off, getting away from it. Today's a good day. It's a good time to listen to the news. It's a good time to watch podcasts, to learn about Super Tuesday and have a conversation and have some fun and share stuff. But overall, people need to have a balanced approach, and that you can consume too many things, just like alcohol can be bad, just like, watching too much TV or sitting down. Watching too many podcasts can be a bad thing. So if this is the show you choose to, I embrace it fully. I hope you don't, but if you do, so be it.
Thank you very much. We need all the help we can get. Thank you, guys.
Well, listen, we've got some calls. First of all, President Biden is going to win in Alabama, but we can now project that former President Trump will win the Alabama Republican primary.
Shocking.
And the Fox News Decision Desk can also project that President Biden will win. Oh, he's also going to win Alabama.
He is.
Did we mention that?
Yeah.
Twice he's going to win Alabama. We can also project that former President Trump will win Tennessee's Republican contest tonight as well.
We're getting there. There it is. Alabama, 82%. It's early on, but we'll call that. The Fox News Decision Desk, again, will say that former President Trump can win Tennessee, and President Biden, you know what? They're winning a lot of different states. Tennessee, there you go. And then President Biden with Alabama. We're going down, ticking it one by one, but there are no surprises here in either of these calls, Alabama, Tennessee, Biden, and Trump. And what's setting up is a general election battle that we expect to see. We're adding a new panel, though.
It's just like magic. We have swapped
we got a lot of people on. We have
panel,
326
and we have
on. It's great to see.
And wonderful brains
It's great
to speak
to
with
see.
you.
Oh,
Larry Kudlow is
Mary.
here. Kellyanne.
Mary Crendell says idiots.
Who?
What do you mean? I just told you. Mary Crendell says idiots.
Oh.
So, but
thank you for the compliment. Appreciate
thank you. Thank you, Mary. We appreciate it. We'll pray for you. Would you like to say a prayer for Mary, Liv? Here, let's go ahead and bow our heads, everybody.
Oh, my goodness.
Go ahead. Seriously, please. I appreciate
I can't
respect.
bow my head. There's too much pressure.
At least close your eyes and show some respect to
Okay.
the moment of
My
prayer.
eyes are
Thank you.
closed.
Can you please cross your hands and stop counting rosary?
Yeah.
You're not Catholic. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Dear Heavenly Father, please find a way to bless Mary. Was it Mary? Hold on. Damn it. Hold on. Oh, Mary. Sorry, Lord. Mary Crendell, as she has much malice and hatred in her heart, as she casts aspersions on people who she doesn't agree with by calling them idiots. And I know this isn't your way, Lord. And I don't think it's Mary. I think Mary is frustrated and she's upset like most Americans, and she doesn't know how to express her anger. So instead, she uses a monosyllabic vocabulary in a very lowbrow way to communicate her ineffectual understanding for general things like how to communicate with others. Please bless her, Lord, and find a way to grace her today, tomorrow, and as long as she's on this planet, because she needs you, Lord. Thank you. Amen. Olivia,
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. Mary, God bless you. God bless you. Bless you.
And Trey Gowdy, great to have all of you with us this evening. You know, Larry, let me start with you, if I may. When you look at this situation across the country, right? This Laken Riley, young woman, lost her life in Georgia. There's a bill that is being moved through the House.
Alexander goes, bless Mary, damn it.
That's funny.
To work to make the country safer, essentially, from the infusion of violent criminals who are carrying out the crimes like the one that was against her. How powerful do you think that story is for people as they look forward to this election?
I think it's an explosive story. I mean, I think the larger issue is an explosive issue and may become the most important issue, the border ahead of the economy and inflation. Very good chance of that. I think at this particular moment in time, it could well be. I mean, it's showing up in some of the polls. I think the death of this beautiful young woman is an equally explosive issue and an infuriating issue, and one that has made many Americans angry who don't understand why, even at this point, nothing is done to close the border, okay? And I want to make...
Rose Naylor needs to be banned, if someone would not mind taking care of that. Rose...
I think someone already got her.
Rose is hitting on Judy. It's a little weird.
Yeah, I think they already got her.
Okay. Did Mary leave? I guess hope she comes back. I hope she has a blessed night.
Make a point. I mean, we've done the research on this. There are several congressional laws signed by prior presidents, going back to Bill Clinton, that give...
That Alabama number, I mean, if there's going to be a 90-10, it's going to be that state. It's less than 1%, and I expect it to come back down to reality a little bit, but it's Alabama. You're going to see the same thing with Arkansas. You're going to see the same thing with most Rust Belt states. Is that this is Trump country, and the thing is you're not seeing that on the East Coast. You didn't see that in the northern portions of the United States when it comes to central time zones, and that's really the area that Nikki Haley is performing well in. And we'll have to expect that the further west we get, the worse it's going to get for her. Even though California might be interesting, I'm actually really interested to see what Californians do. There is a very large independent demographic inside California.
It gives any president the authority to stop people at the border and to deport criminals back to wherever they came from. And the fact that President Biden has been unable to do this.
All right, we're going to fast forward here real quick because we want to get some. Oh, look who it is. It's your favorite, Liv.
I saw her. I wonder.
Yeah. Interesting.
How far up Trump's ass her head is tonight.
Whoa. Let's go ahead and we're going to do a quick commercial. We'll be right back. About a minute and a half. These are PP break moments, and all of us need those, even with a bladder of a I don't know, rhinoceros. Here we go.
Adjusting transmitter output.
No.
Wrong one. We're
that
still
what's going on? Donut Friendly
bad.
Nation. Matthew Spear from the Donut Friendly podcast. It's interesting. I've had these books for, 3 years now. And I've got, 3 independent books of the Declaration, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution of the United States that I inherited from my mother. Leather-bound, beautiful. And they're older books, 1935, 1937, something to that effect. I'll show them on the show, but people see me reference these nightly on the show. And the interesting thing is I've never really put 2 and 2 together. We have a website, and someone asked last night, hey, how the heck do I get those books? Where do I get those books? And it dawned on me that I should provide these. So they are now on sale. They're beautiful books. They're leatherette books. They're hardback, which is nice. They don't have a dust cover or anything. I've used these, like I said, ad nauseum, and they hold up and they stand the test of time. They've got pictures of the framers, founders, inside the books. They make references with different colors to kind of explain things in a little bit of a simpler way or give some context. But these books, word for word, are the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. They are absolutely stunning. You get each book individually for $15.99 over at thedumbshow.com. We also have a bundle over there where you can save $5 on all 3 for $44.99. And last but not least, the pictures you've just been looking at and the video is the Documents of Freedom, custom made by PFC Flags, comes in an amazing, beautiful, decorative box for $64.99. Stop by thedumbshow.com and take a look. They're available right now. And that's as bad as it gets, folks. We try not to do too many ads here on the show. I know you get some from Facebook and some of the social media sites, but let's go ahead and continue to watch this. We're coming up on the top half of the hour where Olivia will go celebrate her birthday by going to sleep because she doesn't feel well. Here's the rest.
College professors and elites and Silicon Valley billionaires.
And that's why we're all here today, is to pay back.
I'm old enough, or I'm of a certain age to remember that John F. Kennedy got it back with Lyndon Baines Johnson, and I've seen even weirder things in the Republican. I used to be a Democrat, by the way. I've seen even weirder things in the Republican Party.
Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush
Yeah,
as well.
That's
our Fox
thought.
Decision Desk getting ready to make some new race calls as the Super Tuesday polls close. Our special coverage continues. Live from New York. Next.
So,
any in America,
we
Please
should
go
get
to
some more updates here shortly. Texas seems to be just going as we would expect. 80-20 split right now. You're seeing Haley climb up a little bit. I don't expect him to take 80% of Texas. I think when you get outside the rural states, you're going to see a lot of the cities, whether it be El Paso, you're going to see that in Houston, San Antonio, Dallas will probably have a little bit more of an impact for Nikki Haley. Biden is doing what Biden's always doing, but honestly, this is an incumbent. Vermont is the race of the night. The fact that this 17 delegates here, and she is absolutely neck and neck with him in Vermont. This is unbelievable. And the longer it goes into it, the better it is for Haley, because those bigger cities will ultimately come in late. So the fact that she even has anything close in Vermont, that might be enough to propel at least a conversation, especially if she splits some of these other states. Because remember, she doesn't have to win all out. Some of these states where if Donald Trump doesn't get 50%, she gets over 20, she splits the delegate count based on percentage, which is, an interesting thing. We've seen that in some of the other primaries. So, I don't want anyone to take a look at Virginia, 65-32.7. You will continue to see that go Haley's way. She'll continue to climb 2 or 3%, but it's over there. But a 35% stake in Virginia is not a bad thing. That actually makes it viable for Trump, right? So Virginia went blue in 2020 for Biden, and if he can gain those 35% of those votes to come over into Trump's column, that is a huge lift for Virginia being in play. If you think that the Biden administration is not watching some of this going, holy shit, if he picks Nikki, we're in trouble. So these are some of the things you got to think about. Does he put her on as chief of staff? Does he possibly put her on as secretary of state? These are things that we have to consider, or ultimately VP. And although it may not make much sense in a place like Arkansas or Alabama, it certainly makes sense on places like Virginia, New Hampshire, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, where she can bring a large portion of those votes. Liv, your overall thoughts on this tonight, pretty much what you expected, I would assume.
Yeah, I always trust your judgment when it comes to election and political stuff, because you know so much more than I do.
What do you think about Haley? I mean, do you think that some of the things that she's been saying is stupid? Because I think she has to hit Trump, but I think she's really bought into a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily accurate, that are talking points that are kind of going to burn some bridges with her. Do you think that stuff matters? Do you think people kind of move on from it? What are your thoughts?
Well, to be honest, I haven't heard her talk since the last debate. So I haven't really been watching much of anything.
Yeah.
I get my news from the show and you. That's about it.
Well,
so I haven't watched anything. But I mean, as far as he's been talking smack about her, she's been talking smack about him. That happens every election cycle. You're going to be talking smack to your opponents, and then lo and behold, somebody needs a VP, and they're my best friend now. It's
right.
That's just the way it is. So yes, I think to the Trump base and the hardcore Trump supporters who are like, Nikki Haley's the devil and I'll never vote for her. I think that when Trump if he says she's my VP, they're going to be like, oh, she's the best thing since sliced bread. I knew
Right.
it all along. She's amazing. She's going to win him the election. And that's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I don't think if he chooses her as his VP, if he loses any votes from that, it's going to be few and far between, not anything to make a difference.
Yeah,
I
fair
think
enough.
it's going to help him.
Good. All right, let's listen to Bill, what he has to say.
State during this primary season. So stand by, more coming up on that.
Definitely. And we're tracking the delegates as well. Let's bring in Karl Rove now. Karl, Super Tuesday, you've been through a lot of them. What are your thoughts on this one?
Strong night for Donald Trump. We've got the big enchiladas yet to come in the
Why
form
do
of
people
Texas
listen
and
to this dick?
California. But I wouldn't be surprised if
Wasn't he
he's always-
wasn't he in Clinton's, wasn't he like a Clinton advisor or something like that?
Bush.
Oh, okay.
And he's a putz, and the guy hasn't been right. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. I will take my record over him any day of the week. This
Yeah.
guy has never been right about anything. Karl Rove's a complete twat waffle. I'm sorry. Can't stand the guy. Bo, thanks for the compliment, by the way. Let's listen to Karl Rove and his expert advice as how he...
What's the compliment?
Oh, he just basically said, facts, but what you probably don't want to hear. And that's if someone says that, then I know I'm doing my job right. I'm not here to coddle you and make you feel better about yourself. I might just say things you don't like, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why we have discussion. You can call into the show and we can talk about it.
or if you
Jessica, don't worry about joining. Do when you can. There's no rush. We love you. We're always going to be a free platform. Thank you, though, for saying it.
or if you get 50% plus one, you take all of the delegates. So a very good night for him, and it's in all likelihood his campaign's projection that they're going to win a majority of the delegates by either by later in the month, the 19th at the latest, is probably accurate. Having said that, the high command of Team Trump ought to be concerned about unifying the Republican Party, because as we see in these states, a third of the vote in Virginia, 43% of the vote in Massachusetts going to Nikki
Karl
Haley.
Rove has been watching my
a quarter of the vote
program.
in North Carolina. Maine has now dropped down to about a quarter of the vote, but it was 31% for Nikki Haley. Vermont, 48%. There's still some work to be done to unify the Republican Party, and that's going to depend a lot on his tone tonight and whether or not he stops doing things like calling her bird brain and threatening that if you give money to her campaign, you're going to be permanently banned. And we'll see how he does tonight. He did well in Iowa with his victory statement, unifying, humble, gracious. Not so good in New Hampshire, and tonight is going to be the big night, and he's going to set an important tone for either a unified Republican Party or a divided Republican Party.
See, I don't think
remember
that's.
the night
I don't
that,
think
Ron
that has.
DeSantis-
I disagree with Karl Rove vehemently. I don't think he should be gracious at all. I think he should actually claim victory. I think Donald Trump should come out and say, "I am the clear winner, and I'm ready to face Joe Biden." And don't even mention Haley. See, that now is not the time. You are in a primary. You are in a race. And just like Nikki Haley shouldn't come out and say anything nice about Donald Trump, you should continue to run your race. It's obvious by voting tonight that, yes, there are some states that Donald Trump are going to completely take, but he needs these states that Haley is actually performing well in. And if he trashes her, he's going to do himself some damage. He needs to be firm but fair. He needs to show that he's a viable alternative in this race. And then when it comes to 2 weeks down the road, when she finally gets out, you need to have a serious conversation with the Nikki Haley camp and team to get those big donors, because it's not just about getting her votes, it's about getting her money. Donald Trump and the Republican Party is broke. Donald Trump has to find $505 million cash for these court issues that he has and these penalties. He needs her money. And the only way you get her money is by sticking her on the ticket or putting her in a position of authority that her constituents will like. And I'm telling you, the longer she goes in this race, the less of them are going to support if she gets some low-level cabinet position. Right now, she is at least vying for vice president, if not Secretary of State or Chief of Staff. I don't see Chief of Staff. It's too low profile. It's really Secretary of State. And that is a huge position. Huge. He might as well give her VP, because the Secretary of State can do more damage than a vice president. So we have to put this in perspective here. Donald Trump needs those states that she's winning in. He doesn't win those unless he shows some sort of deference to her performance. So don't show any respect for her performance. Simply be gracious with your win. I want to thank Nikki Haley. I want to thank the people of blah, 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 blah. I'm more than happy to accept your nomination, and we're well on our way. We've got more fighting to do. We'll see in the future. That's it. Shut up. Don't say bird brain. Don't say any of that stuff. That's what you say. And then 2 weeks from now, when she finally does get ready to bow out and she calls your campaign and wants that consolidatory type relationship, you do the smart thing and you look at the numbers and you go, okay, we are behind 12 to 14 points in these states that we need to flip. Nikki Haley provides us on average a 21 to 25% lift on those voters, which comes down to 900,000 votes. And if that's the case, then you put her on the damn ticket and you plug your nose and you deal with it. This is not show friends. This is show business. It's almost like some people haven't even watched a presidential election before.
And quickly, I spoke with the former president that night in New Hampshire, and he said, well, you know what, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad for the endorsement. Can you mend fences? Yeah, probably. We all see a lot of very dirty political language that flies around, and it's maybe more so now than it ever has been in the past. But what do you think he needs to do to unify the party besides, giving a nice speech? I mean, literally in terms of where he goes and who he says he will work with, how does that look?
Yeah. Well, first of all, stop the bad language, because you're right. Ron DeSantis offered him his endorsement. President Trump had kind words to say for him. Then there was a leaked report of supposedly DeSantis off the record saying things in a private meeting that were disparaging of the former president. And the president's co-campaign manager, a terrific guy, a personal friend of mine, went out and said, all we're going to remember about Governor DeSantis is chicken fingers and pudding lips. And that's just not the way to go about doing it. J.D. Vance, one of the...
Going about it is in George Bush policies, too, which is neoconservative, changing out governments with installed regimes, trying to implant democracy, which has failed 26 times across the globe. Why? Because you forget one damn thing. You don't have people who believe in Western civilization and capitalism with a republic. You have oligarchs, you have tyrannical rule, you have the 3%, you have the people like the shahs and the clerics who absolutely suppress their constituents, and the 3% feed off the 97% of the country. Your policies are completely archaic. They're worthless. George Bush is worthless. You need to shut up. You don't know anything about politics, and all you do is give the worst advice in the world. You want Donald Trump to go out there and say Nikki Haley is the greatest person ever, and I really support her because she reflects the values that you think that America wants. America doesn't know what it wants. America hasn't seen a true leader since Reagan, who didn't care what the press said, who didn't care what people did to him personally. He was the right man for the job to fight communism in the time. And that's really all he was good at. He spent more money than just about any Democrat. He didn't have Republican policies, but he was a leader and he could talk to world leaders and he was fantastic and they feared him. That's what Donald Trump had. What you want is someone to go around like Obama and apologize to the whole entire world in order to build some sort of relationship that is non-existent in today's society. Europe no longer needs us. NATO is a waste of time. The Middle East is going to burn and go up in smoke if we do not stay out of those politics and we do not continue to move treaties forward like the Abraham Accords with Saudi Arabia getting back with Israel and solidifying peace talks. What has happened is that the stupid idiot warmongers decide, let's go ahead and support Israel unequivocally. Let's go ahead and fund them versus just leaving them alone and let them do it. So you destroy any possibility for peace in the Middle East. Donald Trump brings that. So you can sit here and say all you want for I'm a polished guy with a tie and I'm an uppity elitist. But when it comes down to it, we need someone who's going to get shit done. And that's not a George Bush neoconservative type. It certainly is a Reagan. It certainly is a Trump. That's what we need for the times. We had enough of you. We've had enough of the Clintons. We've had enough of the Bushes. We've had enough of the Obamas. Sit down, shut up, and retire. God, I can't stand this fat fuck.
Tell us how you really feel, dear.
I don't like that guy.
Really? I had no idea.
I despise Carl.
I had no idea.
He's a giant twat waffle.
doing it. J.D. Vance, one of the former president's big surrogates, put out a statement saying, if you are not being supportive of Trump and his and the candidates he endorses, don't bother showing up on my doorstep and asking me to help you on
Pardon the
legislation.
language.
I have a long memory. Well, that's the kind of thuggish thing that most politicians, even if they believe in keeping enemies lists, they don't go out and say it in a tweet. And yet that was one of the president's, the former president's strong.
I want to go back and I want to listen to Karl Rove on the evening of 2016, where he sat there with his stupid little dry erase board. And instead of having numbers on there of how Trump was going to fail, ultimately write, I am wrong. He's been wrong ever since. This guy could not predict the frickin' weather if he was standing in the middle of a hurricane. I can't stand this guy. He is a shill for the bushes. I despise this guy. I've been clear. I've said it. Anytime you want to come on my show, Carl, I will spank you up and down the frickin' block.
The senator, junior senator from Ohio, that stuff has got to stop. The presidential candidate sets the tone for good or for ill. It's up to him to be the one who's gracious, who's the adult, who does everything he can to unify, because in 2020, 1 out of every 10 Republicans broke for Joe Biden, and Donald Trump lost by 7 million votes. If 20% or 15% or 12% of Republicans break, that's not going to be helpful to him in the fall. So he's got to set the tone, and the best way to do that is to start out tonight.
Carl, really quickly, this is a primary. There's still opponent here. There's a
Thank
candidate
you,
in the
Brett.
race. When you get to a general election, obviously, you know, there are two candidates, and it's a choice. And in independence, President Biden is down on helping the working class, improving the U.S. world image, handling the economy, making U.S. safer, improving border security, unifying the country. I'm not talking just down. He is upside down by about 3/4, 75 to 20. Do you mean to tell me that all of those voters...
Shut up, Carl. See, here's the thing. When people turned on Brett because they didn't call Florida fast enough or they didn't call Texas fast enough, Brett Baer is one of the only good ones, okay? This guy is a classic radio guy. He is a Cronkite type. He was a Brokaw. He's that type of guy. He's a Paul Harvey. I don't understand why anyone gets off on Brett Baer. He challenges. He's a direct guy. He's stand-up. He's always affable. You may not love him, but there's no reason to hate this guy. He just undressed Rove in 2 seconds, saying what I've been saying for a long time, is Donald Trump has to understand, and he has to build a relationship with that 15. Remember that number I just said? I've been saying for, 3 years? The 12 to 15%. That is what he has to go after. And he has to go ahead and court them. The only way you court them, they don't like Trump. They know who he is. It's not his first term. If this was his first run, this would be easy. He'd go out there and just lie to them. He can't. They don't like what he's selling. He's not their particular brand of vodka. They are latching on to Haley because she is not Trump. So you got to go out and court those people. And if you're a Republican right now going, oh, screw those people, we'll win without them. No, you won't. Because they went to Biden in 2020. You're not going to get those votes. And honestly, they went to Jill Stein in 2016. Donald Trump lost to Hillary Clinton. The only reason he won is because of Jill Stein. Go look at the 7% she took from frickin' Clinton. Donald Trump was going to get his ass mopped. He even thought he was done. Everybody thought he was done. Jill Stein outperformed as a frickin' independent because people just hated Hillary Clinton more than they hated Trump. This is not the same thing. They hate Biden now, but they hated Trump in 2020. Not you, not me. The undecideds, the middle of the roads. We're already baked into the thing. They don't even talk to us. They know who we're going to vote for. He's got to go get that 12 to 15% who are willing to come to him. Nikki Haley owns that 12 to 15%. I've said it for 3 years. I'm not changing my tune now. Karl Rove will.
All of those voters are saying that they're not going to come home, even though this is a primary. You don't think those Republicans are going to come home and vote either for President Trump, but they're not going to vote for President Biden?
No, probably not. But remember, in 2020, the Libertarian votes in Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin, Joe Jorgensen, the nominee of the Libertarians, got more votes than Donald Trump lost by. So the best thing to do is bring everybody home and bring them home earlier rather than later. And the way that you do that is by setting a tone and following it consistently through the balance of the spring and into the fall and into the convention. And look, it's not easy. Having been through this, I mean, there were a lot of hurt feelings in 2000 on the John McCain side. And it's hard to do, but you got to do it if you want to win.
Karl Rove, as always, thank you. The Fox News decision desk can now project that former President...
So someone explained to me in 2016 how Trump brought the party together. When Ted Cruz took it all the way to the convention and Trump still won. He's so full of shit. Ted Cruz in 2016 did not even give a full-throated support of Donald Trump. It was almost this close to be a contested conference. That hadn't happened since 1976 with Ronald Reagan as governor. So for Karl Rove to sit here and say that Donald Trump, the only way to win is to go ahead and kiss the pucker of your opponent, Donald Trump has never done that in his life. So, Karl, why don't you do me a favor? Why don't you get the fucking Matlock on, get your tapioca pudding, take out your teeth, go play some shuffleboard on the Princess Cruise Lines, and get the fuck out of politics, because I will wipe the floor with this guy. He doesn't know anything. He's never known anything. Can't stand this guy. He made me cuss, Liv. On your birthday, of all things. Should we pray?
How dare you?
I know, I'm such a jerk.
My only birthday wish was for you to not cuss for one day, and you couldn't even do that.
Sorry, here you go, sweetie.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I love the hat here. Oh, gee.
Yo, man, Thugs Bone Harmony. Peace out, motherfucker.
Oh, my gosh. Why am I getting sick?
I don't know. What's wrong with you? You're driving me crazy. We have to have birthday sex, and you can't get... I'm not going to...
I'm
You just have to have birthday lay down.
I'm clear now.
You just have to have birthday lay down. That's all you got to have. Just birthday lay there. You won't feel a thing, I promise. All right.
That's totally the opposite point of getting laid here.
I know. All right, folks, listen.
God,
here's the thing. This is going to go on. I've had a blast. I love doing this with you. I don't like the confrontation and the trolls and yelling at people. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I had a great time tonight. I had a lot of fun. I appreciate it. We've only got a couple more minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the thing. If you have not been to the Don't Unfriend Me show, go to thedumbshow.com. You can donate, link, tap, go. Nobody pays for this. Some guy said we work for Fox News. No, dude. Are you kidding me? I'm in a t-shirt and I look like a trucker. I've got tattoos. They wouldn't let me on Fox News. You want to know why? Because I would not do well. Okay. It's not that I can't polish up, man. I mean, I go to Spreely.tv. I got a suit. I look pretty good. But I'm not paid by anybody. This is all mine. Everything you see here, my entire studio, Olivia and I built it together. These microphones and cameras, nobody paid for this. This is a $100,000 set. Nobody paid for this but us. This is ours, okay? And no matter how many times Benny Johnson tries to steal my set, it's still mine. It's my set. We would appreciate it. If you have some, we're not begging for dollars. We're not panhandling. We've been on for 2 hours straight. We love doing this, and some people have been awesome. Thank you for everyone who donated. If you have a chance and you like what you heard, and you're like, wow, I like these guys. I want to keep them around. Or we don't like these guys, but we still want to keep them around so we can make fun of them. Just throw a little bit, whatever you can help out with. And here's the thing, it's always going to be free. Always. So if you wouldn't mind, go to linktapgo/thedumbshow. You can also find us on thedumbshow.com. We are live. What time, Liv?
7:00 p.m. Eastern time. I'm really slow tonight. It's taking me.
Did you see
I've got
Lolly?
So much pressure right here.
Lolly said Matt's humbleness is so hot.
Oh goodness.
Listen, whatever you can do. But listen, you can find us across all social media sites. Here's a cool thing. Go to thedumbshow.com. Go take a look around. Find all of our podcasts, all of our recorded shows. We are with Spreely.tv. You can watch us on Roku device, Apple, whatever you want. You can just go search for The Dumb Show. You can find us everywhere. We're on Rumble, we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Come see us. Come say hello. We would appreciate it. I want you to do me a favor. Don't leave now. Go and watch something else. Go watch another show. Go watch a different opinion. Go find out what the liberals are saying. It's good for you. It's healthy for you. You get to get a different perspective. And if you're watching what the people who you don't like are doing, you'll never be surprised by what they do. Go expand. Go find out what the West Coast does. We'll talk about it tomorrow. God bless. Thanks for sticking with us.
Thank you very much for all of the birthday wishes. I very much appreciate it.
She'd rather have money, though. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, can she flash a boobie?
I need a pedicure.
Can she flash a boobie or something? Because
I need to go get a mani-pedi and a massage is what I need.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for everything you do.
And I won't be here Wednesday or Thursday. Hayden's got a bunch of choir stuff I've got to get to.
I'll be here. I'll be here for State of the Union Thursday night, folks. State of the Union.
That's right. You're going with us tomorrow, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be tomorrow night. I'm going to be with them to go to Hayden's place, so I will not be on, but I'll have a recorded show. We'll have some news in the morning. God bless. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me show. Thanks everyone for everything you do. See ya.
Thank you very much.
Tamada. Bye-bye.
Love y'all.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.